All right, what's going on, y'all? It is Pizzle. I've got my boy Authentic with me. He came on. He came on last week. We were having I was having a random kind of guest night on my channel, and Authentic came out of nowhere, and I just had to get him on again tonight. We're probably gonna have one more guest with us tonight, but for those that didn't watch, I'm gonna give it a chance for Authentic to kind of introduce himself, talk about channel he's on, and then I want to say something about his channel. I'll go ahead, Authentic. Go ahead and tell everybody about your channel and kind of your deal here on YouTube.
Definitely. What's up, everybody? So I do a podcast called Authentic in the Beard with a couple of my homies. It's an NFC East based podcast. The official title when we started season 1 last year was the best division in football, but y'all know how that's looking this year. So yeah, man, we're just in our second season here, man, trying to hang tough with these Giants, man. I'm media-based background. I'm an artist and a producer for a living. And yeah, man, shout out to the guy, Pizzle, man, for just having me on the channel one time.
So here's the thing. I watched, or I figured out who Authentic was. You know, he was I saw him as somebody who just comments on my videos. And then we popped on my channel. I kind of got to, or he came on last week. I figured out who he was and learned more about him. And then so I subscribed to his channel, and I ended up on Sunday watching him and his boys. What were their names again?
My boy Tim and my boy Scott, who's the moderator.
So I was watching Tim, Scott, and Authentic, and next thing you know, I was like, shit, it's 30 minutes that went by. Like I just really enjoyed their content. I was really, I don't know, like it was really good. And I don't say that about everything I see here on YouTube. Like some of the stuff I see on YouTube is just not that great. Obviously, if you followed my channel, you've heard me call some guys out who I don't think are very good. And I'm telling you, I really believe that Authentic and his boys, Tim and Scott, are worth a follow. They're worth a subscription. They've got some really good stuff. And if you guys will not be disappointed if you listen to them. I'm telling you, I don't give a lot of praises when I see guys, but I'm telling you, I think Authentic and his boys are really, really good content creators here on YouTube. So, but I appreciate the kind words, Authentic, and here's the thing. I needed Authentic tonight to come on because I need somebody to be my therapist. Okay. I need somebody to talk to about these Giants, and in doing so, I just wanted to bounce some things off of somebody else, and then, have an audience here to kind of go with this. So let's get right into it, Authentic. I'm going to go straight to the number one thing I have the biggest problem right now. Okay. This is my number one problem. This is the thing that's tearing me up inside. So, and I've heard a lot of people tell me I got to let Eli go. Okay. I get that. Like that's an issue. I'll be first to tell you, I have a problem letting Eli go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I have a big problem
with that too.
You're talking about 15, 16 years of quality Giants football action from him, 2 rings, class act, played more years than anybody as a Giant. Just did things that I don't know if any other New York Giant football player will ever be able to do. Okay, yeah. At least as long as I live. Here's the thing. We spent the last 3 to 4 years of a lot of guys, people here on YouTube, people in the media, national media, local media of New York, New Jersey, just killing Eli, killing him, right? Spent years and years and years. And they kept saying, the message was, they kept saying that once you remove this right here, this piece, everything else will be okay. Okay, so during that, there was a stint there. We had OBJ, we had obviously Saquon, everybody, and I want to say what's up to Entertainer Talking Sports. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Entertainer?
We spent years, right? Not just 1 year. We spent years just listening to people bash Eli. Okay, fine. So you bench Eli. We got a new franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. The last 5 weeks, I don't want to hate Daniel Jones. I don't want to not like Daniel Jones. But me missing Eli is causing me to hate Daniel Jones. Do you understand what you get what I mean? I'm going a little
100%.
deep here,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, I'm talking about the guys who beat it with a stick. Okay, beat a dead horse with a stick, saying you need to get rid of Eli, you need to get rid of Eli, you need to move on. And then I couldn't. So when I finally said, okay, I moved on, I need Daniel Jones to be better than Eli.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Like maybe you've had this problem off there. You're not a bad looking guy. You had a girl. You met somebody else, right? And your girl's here, she's here. And so you decided to go to here.
Yeah.
And your friends all said, damn, he hit the upgrade button. He upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we don't know all the other details, but the fact is I needed for the Giants to upgrade over Eli. That's what I needed. I had to have it. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to have, and I don't feel like I'm getting an upgrade. I feel like all I've gotten is somebody who's younger. That's it. And we can go discuss this, but tell me why I mean, are you feeling this same thing? Because I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time liking Daniel because of Eli.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat right now. And I was one of the guys that when we drafted Daniel, I did a little bit. I don't watch too much college football, but I did watch some tape on all the quarterbacks that the Giants were interested in, and Haskins and Daniel Jones being the two main ones. And I like what I saw coming out of college. And what we saw in that preseason when we actually first got to see him play, I mean, he was lights out. He was like 80% throughout those like 3 games that he played in. So you get that little taste of like, okay, I kind of see why the Giants might be moving on now, with the years. And I think the fans had a lot to do with it too, putting the pressure on the ownership, by saying Eli's washed. And a lot of the media, you see it on the major networks, a lot of the media was bashing Eli Manning. And the only person I can remember in the media that had Eli's back was Deion Sanders, always saying, I believe in Eli. And I always felt that same way. Eli Manning, I always felt that if he was at the helm, we had a chance to win the game. I didn't care who the other players were on the field, to be honest. Even the year that we lost all those wide receivers, I think that was like 2017 or whatever that was. I still had faith we could win games, with 3 starting wide receivers down with Eli. And with Daniel Jones, this year we were supposed to see like the maturation and the growth of Daniel Jones coming into his second year. And I don't know if it's that Pat Shurmur offense that he was running that had him looking better or what, because Eli didn't look great in that offense. I remember that offense. Eli was checking down a lot. He had to get rid of the ball fast because I remember the first 8 games with that team, and that coach offensive line was struggling heavily, very heavy. And Jamon Brown comes in. You start to see the change there. Eli starting to play better. We're going into that next year. I think everything was on pace. They're saying they're going to pay Eli that last year. They're not going to release him. He's going to come in here. He's our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy. And then 2 games that definitely were not Eli's fault that season when Daniel Jones comes in and takes over. Eli plays for 2 games, and then you get Daniel Jones coming in, and it's like already, I mean, just 2 games they gave my man. I thought that was going to be the last chance we were going to see, maybe the last dance for Eli to maybe try to get into the playoffs and make another miracle happen. So, I mean, I just think the setup is a little bit strange because now the expectation for Daniel Jones was high. And I'm in agreement with you. I think that like
let me go. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's almost the same quarterback, but he's younger.
It's just younger. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's like
this. You don't see anything jumping off the charts right now with Daniel Jones.
It's the same quarterback. He's younger, but he doesn't have the brain. And here's the thing. Like I'm gonna say this. I swear I said this when 2 minutes to go in the game is tied. The Giants have a drive coming up, right? And you know what I said? I said 10 would win this game right here.
Which Tim?
No, I said 10. Eli.
Oh, 10.
10. Yeah, 10 would Eli would win. Eli would lead the drive right now to go win 100%. This game.
Especially when you got a tie ball game with no pressure on you. It's not like they had to get down there and score 7. They just needed 3. Eli's easy gonna get that, and that's exactly how I felt. I was when we had Odell Beckham. I said this on my podcast. When we had Odell Beckham, I used to queue up this record from a Wu-Tang Clan member, Old Dirty Bastard, right? And anytime he scored, I would play that. And I swear to God, I had Lil Wayne go DJ, queued up. I was ready to go.
Okay.
Ready to just push play on this. I'm just waiting on Daniel Jones because he kind of gave me the play action when they had the touchdown to Slayton, and then it gets called back. I'm still like, the boy ain't had a touchdown. I ain't got to celebrate for this kid in weeks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is going to be it, you know? This is the perfect setup for you. You got a tie ball game, 2 minutes left. Man, even on the first couple plays, they're moving the ball. Everything's starting to feel right, you know? And then they mismanaged the clock there at the end. We end up having to punt the ball. You give Andy Dalton enough time. I mean, Zeke was just shredding us up all day, so they could rely on the run even when they were still losing. And Andy Dalton comes down, he gets the big play to Gallup. Game over. And it just felt like them heartbreaking, those gut-wrenching losses like the Carolina Panthers 63-yard field goal, the Eagles 60-yard field goal, those games. Because, I mean, we go up 17-3 in that game. I'm like, finally. And I was thinking about you during the broadcast, too, because you were like, if we win this game, I'm going to bring you back on. We're going to celebrate. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. That game started getting close, man. I had my hands on the knees. I'm like,
dude,
man, here we go.
That's when the Giants, and I don't want to leave. I got more to talk about Eli and Daniel, but when the Giants were up 17-3 in that first quarter, that's the first time in a really long time that I think I laid back and I was just like, we Gucci today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything's fine today. Like, I couldn't ask, like, an atomic bomb could land next to me and I'd be fine with it. No problems, right? Because my Giants we're up 17-3. We're looks like we're kicking the Cowboys' ass and everything's fine. Everything's great. And then it just all of a sudden disaster started striking left and right. And as soon as, and it wasn't his fault. It was Andrew Thomas's fault. When Daniel got sacked, fumble, they pick it up running back for a touchdown. I said, okay, well, here we go with this bullshit again. Like,
and right before that, even too, we get the pick six. We come back on defense. We stopped them to a 3-and-out right away.
Yeah.
That was his first opportunity to me right there to really put the game away, is when we were up 14-3. And then they go down there and they settle for a field goal again. I felt it right there. I was like, I know how the Giants do. This going to be one of them games where the Cowboys are going to keep it close. I knew Dak Prescott had that bit of comeback in him. You know what I mean?
The Cowboys have been doing that all year. They've been coming back. I'm just saying, like, I just felt some relief.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, nothing can go wrong right this second. Like, everything's fine right now. Of course, it didn't last, but here's the thing. The Giants are 0-5, and I'm if you would have asked me back in June, maybe May, I don't know, with everything going on with COVID, I didn't know really what to think. But honestly, like, if you'd have told me we were 0-5, I might have been like, okay, yeah, that's probably to be expected. Like, just we're a young team, COVID's going on, new coach. We don't have time to kind of gel, have chemistry, all this and that. So, like, for some reason, I'm really upset now that it's happened of being 0-5. But, and this is probably the last time I'm going to just talk about Eli tonight, but I'm telling you, I feel like if Eli was playing and we were actually, assuming he would be 100% healthy and all, I think the Giants would be 2-3.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm not saying 2-3 is good, but I think Eli would have won the Bear game.
Yeah.
And I think Eli would have won the Cowboy game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I for some reason, the Niners was a bad matchup for us. I don't know if we were beating the Steelers with Eli. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if we're beating the Rams. I just don't know if we would beat the Rams. But the Bears and the Cowboys were both games, in my opinion, we pissed down our leg. And we did it because the quarterback position didn't play as good as it could have, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. Andrew Thomas has not played at the level of what I feel like he should play.
Yeah.
I feel like he could be better. And I was really concerned about Daniel's blind side this year, being that a rookie was going to be covering it. When Soder went out, I was extremely upset about it. I can understand his reasoning, but I was very nervous about Andrew Thomas being our left tackle. I felt like he would have been better if he would have played right tackle all year, got more feel for the professional game. I felt like going, and to me, he's got Daniel hit pretty hard. Yeah. That touched again. Daniel fumbled where the Cowboys had to scoop and score, but that was all Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Completely Andrew Thomas.
The block, and it was two people coming.
He's done a lot.
It reminded me of the play earlier on this year on the right side with Cam Fleming. I don't know if you remember that. I want to say that was against the Steelers, where two people was coming at Fleming, And he didn't even know who to choose. He let them both get by him, and they both hit Daniel Jones. This one kind of reminded me of that because the Hernandez at guard, they looked like they were kind of confused. So at first it looked like two people was coming in.
Yeah, I think what happened was Lawrence beat Thomas, but then the Cowboys brought like a corner blitz, and Gallman, who was in the game, was supposed to pick it up. Gallman missing, coming late, that really didn't. I mean, that brought more pressure in his face, but it was Lawrence that got there and got the sack. But it was all because Thomas Daniel probably was getting sacked in that position anyways, but because Lawrence hit him from that angle, that's what caused the fumble, and it completely started to give the Cowboys more momentum.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Wayne Gallman, they faked it to him. My memory's starting to serve me right now.
It's like a play action.
It to him up the middle, and the pressure came from that side. You're right. And he tried to step in the hole. He was a little bit late. You're right. And that might have froze Andrew Thomas. I don't know, but that's one play of many. I mean, he's not been playing well. And that was like the first thing that kind of derailed our season to me is when Solder said he was going to be sitting out this year. I would much rather have a veteran there, even though Solder wasn't playing great last year. I'd much rather have the veteran there to at least try to teach his techniques to a rookie. Andrew Thomas, though, no excuse, because he did know going into the season that, he was going to be the starter as soon as you get the news out of Nate Solder not playing,
Yeah, and, the thing is I feel like, and this is where I go on Daniel, because I don't want to blame everything on him, because I think that a lot of some of the Giants' problems, I honestly feel like a lot of the Giants' problems this year is inexperience.
Yeah.
I just, you're talking about linemen, you're talking about tackles, Fleming and Thomas, who haven't played a whole lot. Or, obviously Thomas is in first year, but Fleming didn't play a whole lot for the Cowboys. Right. So, you're talking about there's some inexperience there. Even Gates at center, there's some inexperience there, right? So, he's got some inexperienced guys in front of him. And so now they've played, 5 games. Now you would like to see it kind of all mesh well. And I don't think they've been completely awful, the offensive line. But when you mix in Daniel Jones, who to me is always like it's almost like his brain is he's too slow to react to some things. Like, what I'm saying? Like you would say, well, Eli didn't have the arm to throw the ball down the field. But he would always be there ready to go with the ball where it needs to be. Whether it came out strong, whether it came out fast is a different debate. But the fact is Daniel just feels like he's late on everything. Like, what I'm saying? Like, anytime there's actually a big pass play, it's never actually a pass play. It's where it's broken down and somehow he's rolled out and he's made this, this somehow good play. Yeah. And then it's a good, he has to get like this weird, it's just never a natural play that ever happens where it's like, oh, that was good stuff. I like the RPO options with Daniel. Don't get me wrong. I like that. Mm-hmm. You could have never had that with Eli. But, I do like the RPOs, but at the same time, I don't like my quarterback running that much. I don't want him taking hits.
And I think if you're going to do RPO, you got to disguise it a certain way. I think teams are kind of ready for that with us because our running game has just been pretty dismal this year. Even in a good game from Devonta Freeman against the Cowboys there, we still only averaging like 3 yards a carry. It feels good when I'm watching the game. I do feel like our running backs, at least since we've signed Devonta Freeman and they've been using Devonta and Deion Lewis might need to just get out the mix, but with Wayne Gallman, I like what they're Freeman. Doing there. They're getting positive yards on first down and trying to make it easier for Daniel Jones. And this game looked like the offense had it all clicking. We had to battle the refs there. That was major, I feel like, because if Daniel could get the touchdown to Darius Slayton on that one, his statistics are going to look a lot better. Everything looks a lot better. So you got one play that gets called back, and you got the one fumble, which really makes it look bad, especially we've seen him fumble so much already, so we don't want to see any more turnovers out of Daniel Jones. We need touchdowns. Right now I think it's 7 interceptions or something like that. 2 touchdowns. That's just not going to cut it. No. Even when Eli Manning wasn't playing good ball, the numbers was never looking like this,
And here's the thing too is, and I know that I know there's going to be some Giant fans that are watching this and they're not going to agree with this, but I like Freeman more than watching Barkley.
Yeah.
I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I just didn't really like Barkley's game.
You know, I was a fan of Barkley's game, but I think that the Giants were kind of stuck in this mold of like Saquon's a 3-down back, and they never really, Wayne Gallman's been there the whole time. I like Wayne Gallman, but I've always thought we needed to get another second back in there to help Saquon. And I didn't do my due diligence with Dion Lewis and really seeing what he did, because he reminds me of the signing that we did just a couple years ago. Who's the running back out of New England we got that was a 3rd-down back? He wore 33 for the Giants. He didn't have that great of a year. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now.
Damn, somebody in the chat's Vereen. Yeah, Vereen. Yeah, Shane Vereen.
Shane Vereen, right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same thing I thought. It's the role I thought Shane Vereen was going to come in here and bring, right? It's like you thinking he could just fill in for Saquon when Saquon's not in the game, give him a little rest, get us positive yards, and help out in the passing game. And Dion Lewis, I mean, he hasn't played well this year. I can remember the game against the Rams. There was a critical 3rd down there late where he got blown up on the block. It was a screen pass where he was somehow leading in the block because it was going back in the opposite direction. He just gets blown up. I'm just not a fan of Dion Lewis right now. He did hold it down that first game when Saquon went down, but I'm more of a fan of Devonta Freeman and what he's doing right now. I mean, I like the tough running, and I think that's probably why you leaning more towards saying you like Devonta Freeman's style more than Barkley. But Barkley could have paired well, with somebody like that,
Well, yes. So if you would have given me Barkley with Freeman, I could deal with that. I can't have let's see here. I think it was Real New York Giants. Who said that? I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, Real New York Giants Mafia said that. I'll show it right here. He hits the holes hard. Yeah. Okay, and you could interpret that in multiple different ways, fellas. But anyways, I love that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no BS. I'm coming at you 100 miles an hour. Barkley for me. And I don't have an agenda here where it's like I don't want the Giants to pay Barkley. I don't have like that kind of mindset. It's just for me, I just prefer the way Freeman runs or that style of running over Barkley's. And for me, this team can't really afford like to have a guy like Barkley. It's almost like it's a privilege to have him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like his talent level, like he's obviously talented, but we don't have the privilege to have someone like that and pay a man and have that much money tied up into a running back. You know what I'm saying? Like our team, the way it is, like we don't want to have any business paying a running back of that style, of that kind of magnitude. I'm sitting there watching Derrick Henry last night for the Titans, and he's a game changer. But he's also a game changer because the offensive line is so good. Or the Titans' offensive line is good.
They built that team correct, man.
Like, they built it nice, yeah. So I mean, they built it nice, and so to me, it's like
picking the Bills in that game too. I picked the Titans in that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think both of them are playoff teams.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at 2 playoff caliber teams going at it. But for me, I'm sitting there watching the Giants and Cowboys, for example, and I don't know really. I don't know what the Cowboys are now with Andy Dalton at quarterback, but I just didn't see 2 playoff teams going against. You know what I'm saying? Like I just saw there was some sloppy football. It's weird because you watch 2 really good teams like last night play, and then you watch the Giants and Cowboys, NFC East teams, and it's just not the same kind of caliber of football. And so for me, I'm sitting here watching that game last night, and I'm like, man, I wish the Giants could play like this. I just wish that, and I swear to you, the Titans are built almost exactly like the Giants Super Bowl teams were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big physical running back like Brandon Jacobs. What's that? And I don't know who's better. I don't know if Brandon Jacobs in his prime I think Derrick Henry might be better than what Brandon Jacobs was.
Yeah, I
don't know. I think Henry's better, but
because Brandon Jacobs was never up there with the leading rushers in the league. And
I think
Henry was our rushing leader last year.
Yeah,
right?
I think Henry's better, but you get what I mean. You're talking about 2 physically imposing running backs who are freaks in their speed and their size, and then you got a guy like Tannehill who is not gonna go crazy, kind of like how Eli was, right? Mm-hmm. Just kind of not going to make a lot of headlines, going to make some plays, going to do the right things, not going to make a lot of noise, just kind of do his thing. And then you got a good offensive line. You got a defense that isn't going to make any silly mistakes. it just I'm sitting there just watching the Titans last night, and I feel the same way about the Bills, but more so the Titans. I'm like, damn, that was our Giants team right there.
Yeah,
that was
up.
it. Like this is
with Saquon, we mismanaged that, if you ask me, because I mean, look at a running back like Alvin Kamara, right? When he comes into the league, they got Mark Ingram over there, and they gave him time to prove that he was a 3-down back first, and even still, I want to say they just signed somebody else over there. I don't think it's Murray. I can't remember who they signed.
No, I think it is Murray. Yeah.
It is Murray, huh? So just in case you need that bruiser guy, you have it. And even with the good Giants teams, I mean, yeah, we had Brandon Jacobs, but we had another strong running back with Ahmad Bradshaw who could do the little scatty things that I think Saquon is great at and could have been molded more into that style of a back, because Alvin Kamara didn't come in this league running people over and having those strong runs like that. He was more with the speed killing them. And now you see him, some of these runs, he's getting 10, 15-yard touchdown runs where I'm like, man, he is bulldozing people. And I think he grew into that running back, whereas Saquon Barkley, first they put the pressure on him, to be Eli's kind of like other weapon, and then you get rid of Odell Beckham, and now not only does he have to be a weapon, he's got to be a leader on the team. He's forced in his second year to turn into the main leader of the team because you got a rookie quarterback coming in on his first year, and I just think it just all wasn't set up for Saquon quite yet. They should have just kind of slow played it a little bit more, and maybe the frustrations of losing kind of just thrusted him into that position, because I do still think he's one of the most talented backs. I mean, it's the last time I felt real good cheering about us was on big Saquon runs, and big Saquon catches and screens. And now it's just like I don't even know where to turn for the plays on this team.
I just think and again, I know we didn't see enough of it this year. We didn't see enough Saquon in Jason Garrett's system.
Truth.
But and so it's probably not fair to say, but it feels like to me, call me crazy. And the offensive line didn't play good for Saquon. But it just seems like our offense is running better without Saquon.
Yeah, it does seem like it.
But I don't know if that's even fair to say, because the sample size was small. The offensive line played awful the first couple games. So I don't know if it's fair to say that. So, for me, it's weird because there's a you can see now where there's a hate. There's a Dave Gettleman hate of we always, for some reason, Giant fans now, we just transition to who we're hating on every year.
Yeah.
And so and it's weird because it always becomes like political. It's like, oh, we're on this side of the fence, or you're on this side. And you can't. There's no blend. There's no middle ground on any of the debates that Giant fans have with one another. But now it's Dave Gettleman, and so I sit here and I'm like, I don't like some of our draft picks. But I like some of the players that we have on the team. I'm sitting here watching the game the other day. I love Bradbury.
Love Bradbury.
I love Bradbury. So, there's a lot of Giant fans that will. I don't want to cause any. I don't want to cause any controversy here. But there's a Giants YouTuber who is a big Dave Gettleman hater, and ever so often he will make these videos where he's watching game tape, and he'll talk about how much he loves the signing the Giants had, but then in the next video he'll tell you how much he hates Dave Gettleman. So I don't know, to me that's being hypocritical. That's not right. But nevertheless, I'm sitting here watching the games. I've watched all these games, or the 5 games this year. I love Bradbury. I love Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez, in my opinion, is the best Giants linebacker in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
Seriously,
that piece for a long time.
Long ass time. Like he has been a lot. I mean, he's
like those years with Ogletree, man.
Was awful.
Coverage, I was dying.
Was awful. Yeah, awful. Man. So I sit here, I'm like, okay, that's a good signing by Gettleman. I like Leonard Williams on our team. I'm still for that trade that we made. I'm sitting here. Who else I love Holmes, cornerback Holmes.
Yeah, he's gonna be a baller. I think he's made a couple mistakes. And he was like highly touted coming out of this camp, so I expected a lot from him. I thought he was gonna be able to maybe come in and take Valentine's role early on in the year. But a couple misplays there, I feel like they kind of put him in the doghouse a little bit. But he's gonna be a talent. I like him.
But CeeDee Lamb arguably is gonna be probably the best rookie. Obviously, we've played a short, so it's a sample size. But I think CeeDee Lamb, when it's all said and done, could easily be the best offensive player, rookie offensive player in the league. Okay, I think the Cowboys got a great pick in him. I think he's a great player. Holmes stayed with him. I mean,
Yeah,
Holmes was in his ass most of that game on Sunday. So, I mean, he even broke up a nice touchdown. He made a nice play to break up a touchdown to CeeDee Lamb. And so, for me, I love Holmes. So,
I like the kid Fackrell too. I mean, who got the pick
Frackle.
six?
I like
he's showing you
Frackle.
before that too. He's making plays.
Yeah, I like Frackle. I'm obviously everybody knows I love Darius Slayton, which I think that's probably been Dave Gettleman's best draft pick. I think I still think he's got superstar potential. I like his game. I think the Giants aren't able to utilize all of his skill sets.
Yeah,
but this is where
he could use another wide receiver with him there. Kind of like Juju did with AB.
Well, it's funny because like we're kind of in a. I don't know if we're ready yet, but it feels like to me when the Giants got Plaxico, and again, I'm not looking back and living in the past. I'm just trying to compare Giant teams to other Giant teams. When the Giants got Plaxico, when they made that signing, it almost elevated their team. It took them to, okay, now we're Super Bowl caliber. Now, we didn't know they were Super Bowl caliber, but the fact is it did, in fact, because they went on and won the Super Bowl. It feels like to me that this Giants team, the defense is young and good. Like, I like our defense. I'm telling you, I would go to battle with our defense. I take our defense. I will take what we've got
with this defense. 100%.
We can win. Don't get me wrong. It'd be nice to have maybe one really awesome pass rusher, like a Bosa or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like a Von Miller in his. I don't know how.
That's where Gettleman has missed a little bit is with the pass rushers. I'll say that.
Well, he's got big guys.
Yeah.
He's went and got really big dudes like Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's just got these Leonard Williams. I mean, he's got some really big dudes. But it feels like to me what I was getting at was if they could just have a guy like Plaxico, a nice receiver, one nice weapon on the offense, not Golden Tate's ass, but a nice piece. It feels like it would take it to the next. Like we would be a different team, a completely different team if we just had not one nice weapon where we could move the chains, keep our defense off the field. We've had long drives. The Steeler game was a long drive. We had long drives in that game. We had a long drive in the Bear game. We had long drives in the Cowboys game. We've had these long drives, but I'm talking about a guy who makes special plays.
Yeah.
And I know some Giant fans are probably watching like, well, this is a good time to have OBJ, but it's, I'm not saying, I'm talking about a guy who's actually going to be reliable,
Yeah.
Which, so to me, it's like, if we had that piece, I feel like the Giants would be a better team. I really don't think it's really all that complicated for the Giants to be better. I really don't. I just think
I like that comparison to Plaxico Beers because we were confident that year we got Plaxico Beers. I felt similar this year we got Brandon Marshall. I was like, maybe he's not washed up yet. You know what I mean? And then they all go down that year. But Plaxico definitely just like enhanced the quality of our offense. You got that threat that a safety is going to have to play over the top on. You're eliminating two guys on every play right there. So it's going to open up things on the run. It's going to open up things for the play action. I mean, your offense can be clicking. And you can see it with the Giants offense. The separation is an issue. You never see these wide receivers just wide open. Look at some of those catches Darius Slayton's making on the sideline last week. I mean, he's covered. There's just not getting separation.
And still making plays, though.
And I like
plays.
him. I think he could just be – he could benefit from being the second guy, because then he wouldn't have the double coverage. I feel like Scary Terry McLaurin with Washington is very similar. Like, you got no other threats over in Washington and wide receiver. Yeah. So teams are going into that like, all we got to do is stop Terry. And I think teams are looking at the Giants like that. Like, there's a couple games earlier this year where Darius Slayton is dead quiet, doesn't even get targets. You're just like, and then in this week, what do you have, like 10 catches or something crazy? It's like,
yeah, I don't know exactly what his numbers were, but he played well. So we've got another guy coming on here. I'm going to keep Authentic's going to stay with us. I'm going to introduce another guy who's got my attention. He actually reached out to me. It's Sneaky G-Man. What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Stephen, a.k.a. Sneaky G-Man. What's going on, fam?
All right, Sneaky. So we're kind of in the middle of a conversation, but I wanted, as I was saying about Authentic, when we started this stream, I wanted to have you on along with Authentic because I've watched your stuff. You obviously reached out to me, and then I subscribed to your stuff, and I actually see some of your stuff on Instagram. That's actually kind of really funny too. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to come on live with me today, and just for anybody that's in my audience to see you that don't know you, give you an opportunity just to say hello and tell everybody to subscribe to your channel. So tell everybody about your channel. And then we'll hop you right into this discussion with us.
Well, first off, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be on your platform this evening. I see some of your stuff, and I love what you're doing. I really do. Stefan, aka Sneaky G Man. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. I think I still have my MySpace page still active too. Hey. I'm all over. I'm a diehard Giants fan. Please follow me. I also have a podcast called Truce. It's myself, Sneaky G with Clario G and the Cowboy Hippie. And it's kind of it's a weird dynamic. The two other fellows are one's more of a Stars fan, Dallas Stars. And the other one is a diehard Cowboys fan. And that's kind of the representation of the name Truce, because it's spelled 2, R-U-C-E. You can find us on my YouTube channel, Sneaky G-Man, or even the Truce podcast on YouTube. And I live out here in Dallas. We've been on here for about 2 years now.
And you were actually at the game on Sunday.
I was matter of fact, when Dak broke his leg, it was right in front of us.
Okay.
It was right in front of us. We were at the game, and surprisingly, the Cowboy fans were pretty nice for the most part. Up until the field goal, and then their true colors showed. No, I'm kidding. Only a few showed out. But the whole family is a Giants fan. We roll deep, and I would love for your followers to follow me and just go on this journey with me. I don't know if you guys have merchandise. Dresscomfy.com reached out to us. She has I have Sneaky G-Man shirts, Clary shirts, and also some Truth podcast stuff coming out soon. I would want you guys to get a shirt because my kids have to eat. We're hungry. No, I'm kidding. Hey man, it's all about the hustle, right? It's all about the
well, Sneaky G, let me introduce. This is Authentic. He's got a great channel. He's got a great channel too. Authentic Sneaky G-Man. Again, I just recently found both you guys, and I just like, man, I want to put on these guys together. It's Authentic in the Beard. Real NY Giants Mafia. That is right? Authentic. I'm correct on that, right?
Authentic in the Beard.
Yeah, I wanted to bring you two guys on, and I was like, man, you know what? I got to bring these worlds together. We got to talk some Giants football.
Yes, we do.
I reached out to both you guys, and you guys were both kind enough to come on and chat it up with me. So I appreciate you coming on with me, Sneaky G Man. Is that what you want to be called, Sneaky G Man?
You can say Sneaky G. You can say
Sneaky G. Yeah. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
You can even call me AKA. It's all one name. Stephen, AKA is my middle name. So
okay. So I'll kind of transition you into this because we were just where are you stand on Daniel Jones at the moment?
I think I'm gonna have to ride with Daniel Jones for a little bit because and the only reason why I say that is we're trying to rebuild our offensive line. Saquon is out. He really did not have his full weapons. For maybe not even a game. I mean, he didn't even have Shepard, Tate, and Saquon in a full game. So, I know I do get a lot of people saying, should we tank for Trevor?
And that's not even what I'm saying. I'm not a part of that. No, I'm not a part of that.
And the only thing I want to say to that is I just hope that we don't get to that situation.
Yeah.
Because then the Giants have to make a choice.
The funny thing is I was actually eating some Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay. Beer, wings, and sports. Okay. I'm having lunch the other day. and I'm trying, wings make me happy. Okay. And I'm sad about the Giants right now. So I'm trying to get happy again. So, and I'm sitting there and they got ESPN or Fox Sports 1. And I realized that the Giants right now are the #1 overall draft pick. Yeah. And I'm sitting there looking at that and I'm like, that's not actually a good thing. Like, no. And I don't mean like, as in we're 0-5, like good. I'm saying like when that, if we were drafting tomorrow, I don't know where my head's at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to be in that even environment of mental state with the Giants of like, oh shit, do I give up on Daniel Jones now? Right. And do I get because I don't feel like the quarterback position is the problem. Right. I don't feel like it is. I don't feel like I'm frustrated with Daniel because of how much I loved Eli. That's my frustration with Eli or Daniel is because I miss Eli and I want Daniel to be better than Eli. That's
as we all do.
That's all. And I know that's hard to do. And I know the younger crowd, the younger audience, they hated Eli. Like they were just done with him, but they didn't know all of the good things that he did for the Giants organization. So for me, like I'm not even saying Daniel. It's weird because like I see him make good plays. We were just talking about Authentic about some of the plays he made with Darius Slayton. Those two have a connection. He doesn't have a connection for whatever reason with Golden Tate. It's the Golden Tate. I'm not a Golden Tate guy. I don't think he's that good. Or I think his time has passed, but he has no connection. It seems like with Daniel Jones, Evan Ingram. They're never on the same page. I've said it over and over and over. Like and Evan Ingram had a good game against the Cowboys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when you're able to have a tight end around run, like your tight end is basically doing running back plays. Right. Like when he's like, that's obviously something different that a lot of tight ends can't do. But they don't have a chemistry or connection from throwing, just running a route and throwing. Like it just doesn't seem. It seems like nothing good happens when those two try to hook up. So whatever reason, Daniel just doesn't have a lot of chemistry with his playmakers. And I can't figure that part out. It's like people have been talking, we were just talking about this Authentic, like we don't have like a Plaxico Burress, for example. Right. Where is the chemistry with his receiving core? Like, are they just not that good? Or is it the play? What is the deal?
Well, if I will say this, I think the fact that they didn't have any preseason games. Okay. They were kind of thrown into the mix. They're in a whole new system with Joe Judd and with Jason Garrett. And this is Daniels and Slayton's second year, but first year in a whole new system. They're trying to put an offensive line together because, Nate Soldiers opted out. I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts. Now, I do want to back up. I want to say Tate and Jones, I agree with you to an extent, but Tate is trying to adjust to Jones, and I could just I see that how when Daniel throws a ball and Tate makes an adjustment to it, and with Ingram, you know what? I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling Ingram is going to have that one breakout game where he's going to make us a believer in him. And with Tate back on the field, I believe that's going to happen. I just have that funny feeling about Ingram and Slate. He's just gonna develop into one of our top receivers.
I'll give you a chance. I'll think, but it's funny you say that about Ingram, Sneaky G, because I tell everybody like I'm done with Evan Ingram. Like I'm done, and it's like I'm sick and tired. I'm serious. I'm tired of the games like the Cowboy game where it's like, oh wow, that's nice. Like you can do that. Like wow, like that's, and then I don't see him for 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see anything from you for 6 weeks. It's like if I watch a Chief game and I understand teams, I'm going to see Travis Kelce every single week. Right. If I'm watching a Niner game, I'm going to see George Kittle every single week. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see Evan Ingram every week. He just is going to disappear on me. And so it's like I see the Cowboy game. I'm like, okay, I'm back on the Evan Ingram train. And like I'm done getting on that train. I've had enough. Like, I you know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that you're wrong, but that's where I stand with Evan Ingram. Go ahead, Authentic.
I mean, I think Evan Ingram, he's a very talented player, but you got to use these players right. You know, you got to use your personnel correctly within the plays and within the scheme. Against the Cowboys, I feel like, at least with this coaching regime, it's the first time you saw them kind of use Evan Ingram properly. And Caden Smith was in on a lot of these plays with him.
Love Caden Smith.
You know, and he's the better blocker of the two. I just think it's about setting up Evan Ingram right, and he's just a little bit overhyped, you know, and the hype now is making people think he should be like this A1 tight end, where in reality he could probably be a combo tight in and gets those reverse kind of plays like he got in this game, and everybody's thinking he had a good game. He only had one catch, you know, but the touchdown looks really good, you know. So I think it's just about using him properly. I feel like that with a lot of the players with the Giants. This offense looks eerily similar like it did last year, with a whole new scheme coming in here. And I don't like that, which makes me think that a lot of this has to do with the personnel. And for me, it starts with Sterling Shepard, actually. I just think we've held on to him a little bit too long as a pure number 2.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping that Slayton or Golden Tate could kind of do, you know, a number 1's job, but really neither of these guys, of the 3, none of them are a number 1 wide receiver. And I don't know why they thought to bring in Golden Tate, because Golden Tate is pretty much an older Sterling Shepard. They play the same kind of ball.
Well, Sterling Shepard, and don't get me wrong, when he's healthy, I actually like his game. The problem is he's never healthy.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. I mean, so like I don't need a guy who's going to be, and that's, again, I understand I'm knocking an injury here, but the fact is, like, I need you to be like a Monty Toomer. I'm going to see you every week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care that you're not you don't have a lot of hype. You know, the national media is not going to say you're the best. I just need you to be there every single week. For me, it's really frustrating because Shepard can't stay healthy. Evan Ingram doesn't show up every week. And so you're right. It comes down to personnel. So, and this kind of gets you caught up with it, Sneaky G. It's like, this is where, like, I can look at the team and I say, okay, Dave Gettleman did really good there. You did really good there, Dave. You did really good. And then, oh no, you did bad here. This is not any good here.
Right.
This isn't good. This isn't good. But so like I'm so on the fence with Dave Gettleman. And again, we were talking about this, Stinky G, where it's like the Giants every year now, we go from blaming somebody and then we have talking heads going at each other. And now that Eli's gone, now it's we've moved it to Dave Gettleman. Because Joe Judge is not going anywhere. I mean, honestly, the Giants could probably go 0-16. Judge is going to be here next year. But Dave Gettleman won't be if that's the case. So I just don't know how to feel about Dave Gettleman. And I'm still on the fence of, I like what he's done, but at the same time, I'm frustrated with some of the draft picks.
Well, now one thing, I'll be the Dave Gettleman defense right here.
But you're still and I like that you did that. So you're still pro Dave Gettleman.
Well,
is that where your bias lies?
You know what? I'll say I'm pro Gettleman because I was really impressed how he worked the draft last year. He addressed our offensive line needs. He also addressed our defensive needs with picking up McKinney in the second round. I mean, I know people want to talk about, you know, CeeDee Lamb being picked up by Dallas, but the fact that we picked up McKinney, I mean, and then at that linebacker from Penn State, I mean, that was one of my, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Yes. I like how he worked the draft this year. Now, I do want to back up a little bit how we were talking about Ingram, and it's authentic. It's kind of funny how you mentioned how you guys mentioned how Ingram will show up one week and then he's gone for 6. But in this Jason Garrett offense, you would be thinking that Ingram would be getting the ball every week because Witten, I mean, there was not a week that went by that Witten didn't get 5 catches.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, it is about personnel and how it works. And with now back on the Gettleman, we can't fault him for the mistake of Baker. You can't. Yes, we wasted a number 1 pick or first round pick, but that's stupidity. That's not on a player or on the field.
Let me stop you there. See, if I gave you the chance to interview a player before the draft, do you think that you could determine in your questioning that he would do something that stupid? Just talking to him.
No, there's no way. Well,
you don't think so? I mean, that's what
maybe a little bit, yeah.
If you're hiring somebody at a job, whatever, are you? I mean, obviously, we're all going to have biases over people. You know, it's just how we are as people. Like you're always going to judge somebody before you're going to judge a book before it's, you know, you actually read it, kind of deal. So the fact is, if you have this is where I fall. This is where I blame Dev Gettleman for Baker, because I look at our defense. You brought up McKinney, for example.
Yes,
like
sir.
I just said this before you came on. I would take our defense almost. I like our defense.
Yeah.
And when you add Xavier McKinney to that mix, if he's as good as I think he's going to be, we're going to be even better defensively.
Yeah.
Like I take our defense to war anywhere. Okay. So, and if you had Baker, assuming that he would have a better, even better rookie year, our defense would be, to me, really, really good if you had Baker and Xavier McKinney with it, because that was obviously the plan. Okay.
Right.
But Baker did something really stupid. And I can't figure out if during the draft interview and process, Dave just said, I'm gonna forget the fact that this kid might do something stupid. I think he's talented enough. I'm gonna jump back in the first round and get him, and I'm just gonna roll the dice. And I can't have you roll the dice with an organization or franchise that has been on shaky ground a lot. You see what I'm saying? So the fact is, you can roll the dice if you're the Patriots. Yeah. Because they've been the Patriots the last 20 years.
And they did pick up Hernandez too. Who was a killer on the field.
Yeah, he's a murderer. But the fact is, it's like he took a risk. I feel like, and if you want to believe, if you have the thought process that, well, you couldn't have figured that out in the interviewing process, that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. Right. I think you could have.
Yeah, you would have to think, like, especially the day and age of now, that they would vet these players. But
that's his job.
Right. I mean, that's his job. Well, that's the scouting job. And then they report that to him, as part of notes. And I really don't know too much about Baker's past.
I know he was really good at Georgia. He wasn't giving up any touchdowns.
Right. Well, no. I'm saying off the field. I don't know anything about his past. I mean, let's just say he did have one tweak on his record. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, for argument's sake. But then you run the risk of, let's give this guy a second chance. He's played through Georgia, not an incident. He was a shutdown corner. Although I will say I was at the first game last year, and he didn't shut anybody down on the Cowboys last year. But that's either here nor there. But I would say, I mean, then you kind of run the whole situation of a second chance. But I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to say that the scouting people did their due diligence. And and the only reason why I say that is because he got picked in the first round. That's the only reason I'm saying. Because if there was an issue, then he would have easily been maybe a third or fourth round pick.
So, and here's the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I want your opinion about what I asked too, Authentic, is the fact is everybody pinpoints right now Daniel Jones or even Dave Gettleman, and they say, well, we need Trevor. Let's tank for Trevor. But the fact is, it's a math equation right now with the Giants. We don't have one of our first-round draft picks in DeAndre Baker. We don't have one of our first-round draft picks in Saquon Barkley, right? We don't have Nate Solder, who we paid a lot of money to play left tackle for us, right? The fact is we don't have Xavier McKinney, and this is not me making excuses. I'm saying you're asking what is the problem with the Giants? What is the issues? There's too many failed draft picks early, top of the board, who are not playing. I say failed. Let me say that again. Because obviously
Baker did fail.
Baker failed, but
Baker
Saquon got hurt. Is what I'm saying. Xavier McKinney got hurt. Is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if those are failures yet. But the fact is, you have so many high draft picks. Our team was not good enough in the first place to be losing high draft picks right away. That's you know what I'm saying. So, Authentic. I'm curious about what your answer. Could have Dave Gettleman vetted Baker and seen that? Because I'm telling you, I just listening to Dave Gettleman interview, I look at him and I think to myself, he watched Baker's tape at Georgia and said, well, I can't do his accent, but he might do something stupid, but look how good he played on the field. I'll be Davey Big Nuts and roll the dice with them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because first off, he's from Miami, And we know them Florida boys be hot, but they also know how to cover, and they got speed, man. You know, you got Ed Reed, you had Sean Taylor. Defensive backs galore coming out of just small counties out of Florida. So I do think Dave Gettleman was like, you know what, I'm going to take the risk on him. We'll try to mold him into a man, because we can't forget we're dealing with, like, pretty much kids here. I mean, DeAndre Baker coming into the league as a kid. And he probably thought that he could, mold him into the man that would make him a little bit more responsible. And I think we saw a little bit of that with Janoris Jenkins, who was also from Miami, who kind of had the hothead vibes, kind of a little bit of a hood vibe, you know what I mean, and said some stupid stuff in the interview that ultimately got him fired from being a New York Giant. I'm going to take the risk on it, man, and it'll probably pan out. I'm in a situation where I got to win football games sooner than later, and that was probably a part of his whole, win while you rebuild type thing. Yeah. I'm bringing a rookie who I think could get out on the field right away and make an impact on the field right away, and he probably couldn't foresee it going the way it did, but, I mean, just look at how it happens. We're in a pandemic here with COVID, and the day they allow people to go out and have, some time with some homies and whatnot, they go to a barbecue and you sticking the place up. It's kind of crazy. I think you would have had to at least foresee that in his character at least a little bit. Like, if I had to bank on one of my homies doing that, I would know which homie it would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is Dave Gettleman might say, if Mara, for example, is having that interview with him, like, we're thinking about letting you go. And he's like, Baker, I couldn't tell that he was going to do that. Well, I think maybe you could have. Yeah. I think so the Dave Gettleman crowd that wants to get, or is done with Dave Gettleman. And here's the thing, like, I just don't want the Giants to be an organization or a franchise that's constantly moving parts. We need stability, and I don't care how silly Dave Gettleman comes off. Like, or some of the quotes, like, I just don't like. I need him to be a good general manager. I just need him to work out. I need it to work out. I want Dave Gettleman to work out. I want Daniel Jones to work out. I want Joe Judge to work out. So to me, if those three factors stay or work together, then the franchise can be good again. But that's where when the crowd of like, oh, I'm ready to get rid of Dave Gettleman, that's where I can go with him on that. It's like the DeAndre Baker, that's not good. That's not good at all. But I look at so many other players like Blake Martinez, for example, and Bradbury, and we talked about some of these authentic before Sneaky G came on. It's like, I'm sitting there like, man, these guys are really, really good. And here's the thing too.
And Logan, I'm sorry to cut you off. Logan, he was balling. He was balling.
Well, I mean, I can't say a lot of bad things about our defense. I just can't. And people can tell me how many points the Cowboys put up, whatever, this and that. Not all the points that were put up on Sunday against the Giants were the defense's fault. And at the same time, that Cowboys offense, with the weapons they have, is really good, right? I mean, they're really good. I mean, outside of their offensive line, CeeDee Lamb's good. Zeke is good. Dak, hate that he got hurt. He's good. Cooper's good. Like, they got weapons.
And
like,
Gallup too.
Gallup. I mean, Gallup made an unbelievable play to basically beat the Giants. Their tight end, their new tight end they got is like, outside of their offensive, a couple offensive line players, they're really good offensively. They just don't have a good defense. So, so for me, like, I like the way our defense has been playing this year. I really do. I've actually been really proud of our defense. Yeah. So to me, if we can just get the offensive side of the ball figured out, we would start winning.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. If you think about it, you're right about the defense. We're one play away. One play away against the Cowboys, one play away against the Rams. Yeah. I mean, that cup reception towards the end of the game, the touchdown. We're one play away from the Bears. Yeah. And and here's what I think the Steelers, had Daniel Jones didn't throw that pick in the end zone, I think that would have been a whole different ballgame. I mean, that was just a whole different momentum shift.
I want to make this point too, Steve G, is Dak. I think I heard something about Dak had not thrown an interception at home or something. They made some ridiculous stat like that was good for Dak. Somebody in the comments can probably correct me, but I think the stat was Dak had not thrown at home interception or something, maybe in the last 9 games or never. Mm-hmm. This defense is starting now to create turnovers, right? Which is something the defense hasn't been doing at all the last several years. So, like, the defensive side of the ball with Patrick Graham, the way I think Joe Judge has a little bit to do with that. The players, like the unit, when you throw in McKinney, again, I'm pissed about Baker, but I like the way Holmes has played. I like Bradbury. When you throw in McKinney, who's I think is going to be really, really good. I think our I want to hug Dave Gettleman.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say, like, okay, we'll forget about the Baker thing, but I really like the other pieces. The offensive side of the ball, Andrew Thomas, like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a rookie, but I'm really nervous Dave missed there. I'm really nervous because he's given up some big sacks, and one of them led to a touchdown against the Cowboys. Authentic, and I was talking about. I'm really, really, really nervous that Dave missed there.
Well, I will tell you this. I did watch Thomas the majority of the game because, he's our number one pick last year. And despite the, the one sack, and if I'm not mistaken, they did a cross on him. And that's why he got beat on that sack. I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, I was actually they did. Lawrence went to the outside. That's where, and then they brought a corner blitz, and Gallman actually missed the corner. Now the corner would have got there regardless.
Right.
So he was. I mean, Daniel was screwed, but at the end of the day, Thomas just won.
That's a rookie mistake. That was a straight rookie mistake. But I will tell you about Thomas. There was one lineman picked after him. I can't remember who it was. There was a lineman that was picked later in the draft. I think he went to not the Steelers. Anyway, and he was supposedly rated higher than Thomas. But I read the scouting report on Thomas. Thomas was one of the top graded offensive linemen that didn't need much improvement on.
They said he was pro ready.
Right. Yeah, and he was pro ready. So, I will say what I saw of Thomas, I was impressed. He was holding his own. He gave up that costly sack that led to the fumble. But other than that, I think he played, and he made up, at least he did get 2 points. So he made up 2 points of that 6 points that he gave up.
Yeah, well, that was a great. Hey, the man's got hands. I mean, look, I'm not saying I'm done with him. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm nervous because, and again, I did not want him playing left tackle this year. I wanted Solder playing left tackle. I wanted Thomas playing right tackle, but that he's had to. I give him a lot of credit because he has, as a rookie, been asked to do something that's probably extremely difficult for any rookie left tackle to do. I mean, that's probably a tough ask. You're going against some of the best rushers each week on every team because they're all coming from the blind side. And so he's hung tough. But the fact is he did give up a touchdown on Sunday. And so I can't have that every single game, especially if our quarterback has fumbling issues.
Right. Well, I'll say this. At least he's not Eric Flowers. At least he's not Eric Flowers 2.0.
Well, that's why.
But at least he's not Eric Flowers 2.0.
Eric, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like I'm afraid of the boogeyman in that role of like, I don't need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope this isn't an Eric Flowers deal again. Like, I don't think it is. Again, like, we talked about before you came on, to me, I think the issue with the offense is the inexperience on the line. You're talking about 5 guys who haven't played a lot of football together. They've only played 5 games now together. You have an experience of Cameron Fleming not playing a whole lot with the Cowboys before, and then obviously Thomas is a rookie, and then Nick Gates at center. And then we haven't, it's like you said, I mean, Daniel Jones, what weapons does he really have? I think Slayton's a great piece. But outside of that, I kind of like CJ Board. I'm kind of, I'm kind of on the fence. Like I think he's got some good speed, but outside of like I don't like Golden Tate. I don't like Evan Ingram. I do like the way Freeman runs. Like there is no weaponry on this offense. And so you kind of he's making those big interception plays, right? Or he's making those plays like the Ram game, right? There's an opportunity there to potentially tie the game. We throw an interception, right? The Steeler game, we're in the red zone. We throw an interception.
Yep.
So it's just really tough to watch this team. And as we were talking before you came on, I was thinking, gee, it's like it feels like this team is one Plaxico Burress signing away from being actually pretty good.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's that complicated.
Yeah. I mean, especially with some solid running back, play out of Devonta Freeman now, it does feel like that. If we could just get maybe like that one wide receiver that could really open it up. But I also think that affects the offensive line as well, because now that you don't got those threats down the field, these defenders just pinning their ears back, and we got all this youth on the line. I mean, you got Andrew Thomas learning from a second-year guy, and then you got Nick Gates at center, who's a young dude too, running the whole thing. So there's no veteranship on that offensive line at all, except Zeitler there, who seemed to play his role pretty well. I'm not seeing too much trouble on the right side up the middle. But I mean, if we can get this running game clicking, I think it starts right there to be able to have that one piece come in, kind of like Amari Cooper did for Dallas that year. When he came in, that offense completely changed.
Right.
They just needed that one weapon, and I do feel like we need that one weapon, maybe another weapon or two. But for starters, we definitely need at least one weapon in wide receiver or a major tight end move. I mean, because I'm not up on Evan Ingram as much either. I was high on him before. The speed looked great, but like when you miss an issue.
Look, I just want to. We joked about this earlier, Authentic, and here Nick Enrique says, "Oh, like Odell? Like, is that what you mean? Like you need one big playmaker? Oh, you mean Odell? No, I don't mean Odell. I mean somebody that's
so bad with the Giants, man, because it was like we had Victor Cruz, and Victor Cruz, tears the patella or whatever, and then you get Odell Beckham emerges out of that. We couldn't have them really together at the same time, Victor Cruz after the Plaxico Beer situation shooting himself. It's like, yo, can we just get on the right page here, man? Bring in these weapons, bring in some smart players, man, because the DeAndre Bakers, that's not going to work. We got to bring in some smart guys, responsible guys.
Go ahead, Steve.
Before you guys were talking about continuity in the front office. I mean, that's a good point, because before Reese was fired, he was with the Giants for like 25 years. He was there for a minute. But obviously, I think his downfall was the drafting of Eric Flowers, Prince Nakamura. Did I say his name right? I think. And Eli Apple. Oh my God! That one was horrible. I think with those kind of drafts,
that's been the biggest problem with the Giants for many years is we haven't drafted well. Like with our teams. I mean, look, I'm watching the Patriots a couple weeks ago. It was the game they were missing without Cam Newton. They were playing the Chiefs. Can't remember. It was like a Monday night. They changed it to Monday night. They had 2 6-rounders on their offensive line doing work. Like 6-rounders. Like they're getting value out of every pick they basically they pick, and so the Giants obviously have had some good ones with, like, for example, Darius Slayton, but we're not getting our high draft picks to succeed at all. Hardly any of them. And even Daniel Jones here, right? I mean, some people want to say we reached for him, but even him, like, you may be on the thing of like, well, he's playing good or he's not playing good. Like, it's like nobody who's picked high for the Giants plays well, or there's always some kind of BS with him. I mean, even OBJ, when we first got him, he was injured. So it took some.
His hamstring,
Yeah, so I mean, it's like that's it's another miss for the Giants is OBJ. It's like, he made some good stuff happen when he was here. He was obviously,
but he didn't show up in playoff time. I mean, those 3 jobs, those 3 jobs hurt us. I mean, it was.
And that team didn't belong in the playoffs. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt like
I agree with you. Authentic,
and just it surprised me that year. I think what was that 10?
You didn't think they in 2016?
Yeah, the boat trip team. I didn't think that team was that great because Victor Cruz, he wasn't playing that great. It was really just Odell Beckham show, I feel like.
Well,
the defense was really good.
Defense was solid.
The defense was really that they played good, and to me that boat, the boat thing. After that, we haven't been the same. We honestly haven't been the same. So what's funny is, and I wanted to make this point because I've been seeing the media. The media has been joking about the Jets and the Giants both having a combined record of 0-10. I actually don't feel like it's fair to group the 2 teams together because the Jets, in my opinion, are way worse than the Giants.
Right.
Like, I actually don't think the Giants are as bad as people make them out to be, and I don't think I have rose-colored glasses when I say that, or I'm being biased at all. I just feel like because there's some games in there we should have won. The Jets don't have a game in there that they should have won at all.
Yeah, we've been in every game pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Niner game, I feel like, okay, I've been, as I like to say on my channel, I've been reeled in on all of the games except for the Niner game. So it's funny because like I look at the Giants and I say, well, they're 0-5, but I could easily make a case and say they could have been 3-2.
Right.
You know, obviously that's not true. But the fact is, I hate when they do that. I hate when the media puts us together with the Jets and say, well, you know, that's 2 0-5 teams. You know, they're just, and it's not, to me, it's not fair.
No,
Do y'all feel that though? Like, of all the teams that are bad, with the Falcons, the Jets, I just don't feel like we're a really bad 0-5 team. I don't feel that. I feel I don't know. I don't obviously it's not good and things aren't great and things could be better, but like I don't think we're that bad. It's like we can't get a win. And if we could just get a win,
we talked about that.
If we could just get one,
Just
like
one.
you know what I'm saying? If we're just get one, I feel like our confidence would just go through the roof.
And the problem is, you're right. Yes, we are an 0-5 team, and it goes back to what Parcells said back in the day. You are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you know, I did not see at the time an 0-4 team at Dallas Stadium on Sunday.
Yes.
I did not. These guys. Now, I'm not going to be a poor loser and say the refs screwed us. Okay, I'm lying. The refs screwed us on a couple calls. Okay,
Yeah.
The 2 touchdowns and that one misholding call at the end of the game kind of hurt us that they missed. But yeah, no, there's a difference. There's a distinguished line between the Jets and the Giants, and the Giants are competing. The Jets are they're releasing Le'Veon Bell. That's what they're doing.
They're not competing. And the fact is everybody are rivals. You guys probably have friends, like you said, Sneaky G, that you've got friends that are Cowboy fans. Authentic's got friends who are Redskins fans. Of course, I still call them Redskins, but obviously they're not doing that good. So they're probably a little bit easier on you, Authentic, than. But we've got friends. You guys probably have friends who are an Eagles fan, a Cowboys fan, a Redskins fan, and you're being made fun of by your friends that are fans of these teams. But you try to tell them, like, oh, but I'm telling you, we're not a real 0-5 team. But they don't want to hear that. They just say, well, you know.
I always tell them, I said, enjoy it now. Because when we get to the top, it's going to be a while before we get off.
Look, I believe, like I said, because, and I feel that way because, and I feel like this is what pisses me off about the Dallas game. Because to me, if we win that game, I feel like it was going to be a springboard for us.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I don't care how we do it. I don't care how ugly. Just get it in the win column, and things will be so much better. Because I feel like our defense, and again, give me Xavier McKinney back. I feel like our defense can really do damage on a lot of teams. Like I feel like we're going to have some big tests coming up, right? I mean, we're going to obviously play the Bucks, obviously the Eagles. I mean, you know, even this Redskins game, right? We can talk about that too. I can't help but call them the Redskins, but with them coming, like we've got still some opportunities to turn some things around. But man, we have to just get a win, and I feel like I hope it don't come too late. That's the thing.
If we could have won that Dallas game, you know, going in playing Washington, we played Washington twice in like 4 weeks, and then the Eagles somewhere in that mix. We could have 4 wins easily here by
right off the bat.
8, week 9.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's my fandom that is not allowing me to really understand the state of this team. But going back to what you were saying about the Jets, you know, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm looking at last year with a little bit of hope because Darnold comes in and wins 7 games. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was ugly, and he looked like he was playing terrible. He's going through the mono. He's going through all that. But they still get 7 wins under the belt with that quarterback, whereas like the Giants, we coming off a 5-win season, 4-win season, whatever it was, and it's like, yo, we look bad, but we feel as if we should be winning some of these games, and we're losing some close games here, especially this year. It's like you said, we could have been 2-3, maybe 3-2 here if some of these games go another way. But with the Giants, it just feels like when we're playing, we can't make any mistakes. And I'm sure when y'all saw that fumble get taken back for a touchdown, you're like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
And it just feels like the Giants are the kind of team that, you know, if that was another team, a winning team, they shake that off and get right back to business.
Yes.
Win that game. But with the Giants, it's like that one mistake is going to linger over our quarterback for the rest of the game. And I see it with Daniel Jones. He's seeing ghost a bit. You know, I saw a play where the pressure, he knew the internal clock ran out on him, and he kind of like scrunched his back up, like they're gonna hit me. You know, and I was like,
but I will say there was a couple plays where he finagled his way out of the pocket and rolled to the right and hit Slayton on the sideline.
And he continues to do that. And those are those flashes we see that look, we're like, yo, this could be our quarterback, you know? Yeah. But I want to see some more of the basics. I want to see Daniel Jones drop back 5-step and just bing, hit somebody on a post, which we're rarely seeing. All the plays I feel like he's making, he made some great third down plays in this game against Dallas. And we improved on offense on third down. I want to say it's the first game we were over 50% on third down was against Dallas. And some of those throws like that one that you're talking about to Slayton, and also the one off his back foot to Golden Tate, 15 yards on like 3rd and 12. He looks great on those plays, but I feel like his instinct is having to kick in when he makes those plays, and the athlete is kicking in, which is allowing him to make those plays. But when he has to just sit in the pocket and mentally, you know, make the right reads and then make the throw, I think that's where he's struggling the most. And we're not seeing a very cohesive offense where he can just drop back and throw the ball when it's supposed to be thrown. You know, it's like a lot of breakdown plays.
And I think, again, that's where the preseason comes into a play, where there's lack of. And also, this is his first year in a new system. And, you know, in the podcast I was on Sunday, Truce, give a shout out. It hit me when I got home and we're talking about the fumble, about Daniel Jones and the issue that he's having with the fumbles. It kind of has a Tiki Barber flavor to it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it kind of and just for the record, Tiki Barber, he's the one Giant that's not on my favorite list because of the fumbles. I still remember the fumble that he caused. It was against Washington, and we were knocked out of the playoffs. I still remember that, and it just and then the mess he was talking about Eli, even though they were cool. Yeah. But then he opened up his mouth again about Saquon. So he's and it was funny when he got his jacket, everybody booed him. So it's not just me. Everybody.
Well, no. What's funny? Like it's so funny because I am a Tiki guy, and I'm an Eli guy too.
Yeah, I'm an Eli too. Yep.
I'm also a Tiki guy, and it's so funny because almost 90% of Giant fans that I run into here on YouTube, they're done with they despise Tiki, and I'm like, well, no, like I got Tiki on the wall back here, like look, me and him are cheesing back there.
I like Tiki because he corrected the problems and became a great running back after he corrected that problem. Shout out to Tom Coughlin on that too.
I love Tiki. I still am a Tiki guy, and I actually don't think what he said about Saquon was wrong. I don't think he was wrong at all. I'm not. Look,
what about what he obviously? Said, wait. What about what he said about Eli? Was he wrong for that?
Well, yes.
Okay. Okay. We can still be friends. We can still be friends.
The thing with I think what's happened with Tiki, especially now, is he's become part of the media.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously that's the problem. It's like it's different when you're in the locker room and then you're part of the media. Like I get that. I get that he's got to play that game. Right. And Saquon is a hot topic for the Giants. Like it's there's going to be people that are on the fence about bringing him back and people on the saying that he should come back. You know, he should or he shouldn't. So, I mean, I get that. It's a hot topic. People want answers. And Tiki's always, Tiki was opinionated. Strahan was. These are guys that we used to have in the locker room who were voices. Right. And I'm sad that Tiki didn't get a ring. Didn't get one for us. Obviously, he was a part of that. The game we played the Super Bowl 35 against the Ravens. He was part of that team, part of that ass whooping. But so it bums me out that he didn't get to be a part of the 07-08 team. I was happy Strahan was able to get that. But you got to remember, we had guys in the locker room at one time who were leaders, and Tiki was a leader. Strahan was a leader. Jesse Armstead was a leader. We had a lot of leaders at one time. Antonio Pierce. We had leaders, and this current team, like I see Blake Martinez, for example, becoming a leader. I see that. Daniel, I think, has that same kind of mindset of Eli, where it's like he's not going to do a whole lot of talking. He's going to try to do it with his actions. So we really don't have, which is kind of, I think, another problem with our offense. We really don't have an offensive leader. We don't have a guy like Brandon Jacobs, who we talked about earlier, authentic of, who's going to set the tone and say it too, or just we don't have that guy. We don't have that piece. We've just got a lot of guys who are trying to figure out the game. The defense, I'm telling you, I feel so good about our defense. Actually, I do. At one point that we were talking about, I feel like the second half of the season is actually going to be really good for us. Mm-hmm. I think by the time we hit about the midway point, and I hope we're not 0-8 when we get there. I hope we're not. But I really believe that this team eventually this season at some point will reel all of us Giant fans back in of believing that something could happen, right? And if we could have stole like the Cowboy game, or we could win this weekend, or we could beat the Eagles and then have a big second half, you'd start saying, well, I think the Giants can still do something this year. I really do believe, assuming they stay healthy, the second half is going to be good for the Giants. Well, I do believe that.
And plus, with the state of the NFC East, as Howard Cross would say, it wouldn't surprise me if the division champion is a 7-9.
Well, what's the Cowboys going to do with Andy Dalton? Yeah, what's the Cowboys going to do with Andy Dalton?
7-9 might surprise me.
Where are they going? Yeah, where's Andy Dalton going to take them? I mean, their defense is not good. That's their quarterback now. Like, where's he going to take them? They've got some great offense.
I do think with the Cowboys relying on Zeke, in this game against the Giants, even when they were down by 17-3, I was saying this, they were still running the rock. And I know people been down on Zeke. They've been like, oh, Zeke's not having a year because he don't got the 100-yard games. But look at every game is about 80, 90 yards. He's averaging 4.6. Zeke, and for a quarterback who's already kind of proven, like Andy Dalton, that he can at least win games when he's got some weapons around him. If you could rely on the run with Zeke like that, I mean, Dallas could still potentially make a run here if they can iron out those problems on their defense. And that's what scares me about New York is that we went in here against one of the worst defenses in the league, right? And we only put up – Daniel Jones had a decent game, I mean, when you watch the game. But for him to only put up like 220 yards or something, it's like, I mean – Dallas was giving up like 300-plus passing yards a game, and it just didn't impress me the way that I wanted to be impressed and get a W here. Granted, we kind of got a fluke loss there, and we lost in the end, and a couple little misplays going the wrong way let the Cowboys get back in the game. But I wanted the Giants to come out here and show me, Pizzle, you said it when I talked to you the first time. You were like, we got 4 weeks out the way, so the preseason talk, we got to put that to the side now.
Yeah.
This team, the offense should be gelling the way it should be at bare minimum. And if we go in here in Washington and we can't get a win, it's really gonna take me off the rails. I think I might lose faith in our team.
The Washington game. So here's the thing. Because the Giants lost to the Cowboys, I can get back in this season and get back in the mix if you can go beat Washington and then beat Philly. If you go win those 2 games, I feel like it will kind of cancel out what happened to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I understand the math. It's weird, but to me, if you can win the next 2 weeks, which by the way, you're talking about a game on Sunday and then a game on Thursday, right? So you're talking about you're talking about a quick little span there. We could be feeling a whole lot better in 2 weeks' time from now, almost 2 weeks. So the point is and then obviously that we would play Tampa after that, which would be, I think, a really tough challenge for us on Monday Night Football. But the fact is, if you could go in that game with a 2-game winning streak, which is something the Giants don't ever have anymore, is a winning streak.
Are they playing in New York or in Tampa?
I believe it's in Tampa.
Well, because we were in Tampa last time. I think we might be home.
It may be at home. Someone can correct me if I don't know why. I've got like a brain freeze for some reason. I can't remember. I just looked at that
it's
like literally. It's at home. So
okay.
Which is again a good thing, right? Obviously. So if they could go out and beat Washington, and we can talk about that game. And I think obviously you got two guys that you do a podcast with that are big Washington fans. And then play the Eagles, which is a team we haven't beat in a long time. If that's because we've got the same issue with them as we do the Cowboys. We can't beat those teams for some reason.
Yeah, Gettleman hasn't won against them in his regime, I want to say, against the Cowboys or the Eagles.
2017. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't done. So I feel like this against Washington, and you're right, I think. I mean, it's so funny the way you said it because it's absolutely perfect. If we lose to Washington, considering what they're going through, not just lately, but their whole year, man, like now you can kind of group me in with the Jets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like now you can group me in, like that's a big problem. And Daniel, to his credit, he's only beaten 2 teams, Tampa and Washington.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Tampa, we don't know for sure he won. I know he had the big drive, but Tampa missed a field goal at the end.
Field goal, yeah.
So, I mean, the team that Daniel, you could say, owns is Washington. And so if he can't beat that team this week, and again, I feel like too, and this is why I say the second half, right? The Giants, if they were a stock, I feel like their stock is rising.
Yeah.
I think they're getting better.
Yeah,
don't you guys agree? I mean, don't you? I feel like they're getting better.
Well, minus the quarterback position, maybe. I mean, because it just seems that Daniel Jones has regressed. But like you said, he only had 2 wins last year. So, I mean, maybe it was just a little bit of smoke and mirrors. But he just looked a lot better and a lot more comfortable in the Pat Shurmur system last year. But we had all those problems defensively. Now we come out. I didn't expect anything from the defense this year because I thought it was mainly a personnel issue. And in the secondary, man, the signing of Antoine Bethea was just crazy to me. That just completely didn't work out last year. And, seeing the defense ball out this year kind of surprised me. But going into Washington, that team is in complete turmoil. I mean, they literally had Alex Smith out there on one leg, couldn't get out the pocket for nothing.
Yeah.
8 sacks on him this week. The Kyle Allen kid who's going to get the start, I think he's serviceable in a way. I feel like he can go out here and beat the Giants with the Redskins defense. They're getting Chase Young back healthy. If they can put pressure on Daniel Jones, cause some turnovers, man, it's going to be one of those games where I'm going to be leaving very upset, And our defense seems to just give up, the big play when it's like we need them to bend but don't break, and then they break, And against the Cowboys, I saw my homie Afghan was talking about, the Giants were. But, I mean, on the one play, Fleming definitely wasn't set. I looked at it 100 times. He wasn't set, so you got to take those off the board, and you got to put your players in the right position to make the plays where the referees, can't intervene and make those kind of calls. I disagree with the pick play. I thought that should have been a touchdown. But at the end of the day, when you clawing and scratching for these touchdowns that are getting called back, man, good teams don't do that. Good teams get right back up, line up, and still score on the same drives. Good teams aren't settling for 3. Good teams aren't letting Dallas come down with 40 seconds before the half and scoring touchdowns on Philly specials. So the defense has played better, but they're still not impressive to me to the point where I can completely rely on them and feel like, okay, I know the defense is going to show up this week. So with Washington, man, it's a scary game. It's one of those games where I feel like, we should win that game. I feel like we got better personnel, we got better coaching, but it's just a setup game where I feel like they could come in and beat us easily, no problem, and it wouldn't even be a close game. We lose by 2 scores or something crazy.
Well, let's play a little game here. Let's have a little fun, okay? And I think people that are watching or which, by the way, we've had some great numbers watching tonight. I really appreciate. Again, I hope you guys go out and subscribe to these guys. They've got great channels. They got good stuff. I really hope you guys do it. So let's do this. I know we're going to be biased some, but let's run down the schedule of what's left.
Okay.
And let's try to be as fair as we can and say, we can win that game. No, we can't. And let's
it's funny you said that because I actually have the next 5.
Let me read it. I'll read them.
Okay.
And you can start, Sneaky G. We'll come down the order. We'll come down the line. So Washington this week.
Yeah, can
we win that one?
I think we can win that one.
You agree, Authentic?
Yeah.
Okay, I do too. I think we can win that one. Okay, week 7, Thursday Night Football at Philly. Go ahead, Sneaky G.
I think so because I think the quick turnaround and the momentum that we got from the win from Washington, I gotta believe we're gonna win that one. I just gotta believe that.
Go ahead, Authentic.
I don't look at that as a winnable game. I mean, Philly's defense is playing pretty decent for the most part. They led the league in sacks, but that was because Pittsburgh only played 3 games. Pittsburgh was behind them entering last week. And if Carson Wentz can just get it going, I think that the Giants defense will have problems, and I think Daniel Jones is going to have problems trying to put up points against them too. The 2 new wide receivers that the Eagles got, they're serviceable guys. Fulgham he's out of a small school, I can't remember, and then Ward, they've been playing well. Fulgham had 10 catches over 100 yards last week, so I don't look at that as a winnable game.
So okay. I'll admit I got an alibi. I didn't watch last week's game against Philly. But I'm making my decision off of what I saw with Philly playing against the 49ers. and last week's game,
Yeah.
the week before last, and they just didn't look like the dominant team. Again, I didn't watch this Sunday's game, so
okay. I think it's a really tough. I think it's a tough spot because it would be a short week. Usually the home team has the advantage on Thursday nights. And obviously this is all speculation of if we're healthy, right? If we have, if our players, if we have damage. So I'm going to say the Giants can win that game on Thursday night. And I know they don't ever beat Philly. They don't, just like they don't beat the Cowboys anymore, but this is, I got a feeling they're going to reel me in right after that game. It will be after, I think they go on and win the next two games against Washington and Philly, because I think they can take some momentum out of the Cowboy game. I don't feel like they lose that game and just be deflated. I actually think they feel pretty good about themselves, and they're able to go and win two division games back to back. So again, Eagle fans, and they hate me more than anybody. I think it's where they hate in the world. So they're going to hate me saying that, but they'll just have to deal with it.
If they hate you, tell them to go to my TikTok. I have that picture of that dude eating. Can I cuss on your show?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want on this podcast.
I have a picture of that dude eating horse shit, and I always say, you got a little something in your teeth, Eagle fans. So
yeah, well, they're going to have something in their teeth after that Thursday night game, in my opinion. So. All right, so then that takes us to Week 8, home against the Bucks on Monday Night Football. Start us off, Sneaky G.
Man,
this one's tough.
and the thing is, okay, so Brady is not the Brady of the Patriots, and I'm sorry, he's great. He has 6 rings, 9 Super Bowl appearances. You know what? I'm going to say we win that by a field goal.
Okay.
I'm going to say we win it by a field goal.
Okay.
17-14. Super Bowl 7. Yeah, Super Bowl 7 score right there.
Hey, I want to pick the Giants with you on that one, but I got to go. We've seen some good games out of Tom Brady this year. We saw a 5-touchdown game, and that was a struggle to get that W. I don't think the Giants can go hang with the Bucks. Defensively, the Bucks are solid. They got a great running game, a couple running backs over there. I don't think we can hang with them. Mike Evans, too many weapons.
I think the Giants actually play really tough in that game, but they end up losing a close one.
That's why I said field goal.
I feel like it's like it's like that Patriot game last year that they played, where they played really good that first half, and then obviously the Patriots gapped them a little bit in that fourth quarter, but they hung really tough early on, and I feel like that's the same with that Bucks team. It's like but I think that's a loss there. So then that takes us to Week 9. So that gets, in my opinion, the Giants are setting it right now would be 2-6. Okay. So then that gets us to Week 9, which is at Washington. I think all three of us say that that's a winnable game.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. That gets me at 3-6. So then we go again, these division games. We're at home against Philly. Week 10.
So
go ahead,
division
Steve.
games back to back.
A lot of division games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to go. We'll beat them by 7. I mean, we're at home. By that time, we're clicking.
Now you thought we would lose Authentic at the Thursday game. Can we get them at home on this game?
Yeah, I think we can get the win at home. I look at it as a split, man. I mean, the Eagles,
I agree.
I think not a great team. Giants not a great team. So division rivalries, I think it'll be a split. I think we could see a good game called by Jason Garrett at home to get us a W. I
may have it backwards, but I for some reason think they're going to split with the Eagles. But I may have it back. I may have the Thursday game wrong, and then this is the spot that the Giants do beat the Eagles. Or knowing the Giants, you think, well, you beat them on Thursday night on a short week. Surely we got them on this Sunday game, and they somehow screw it up.
And then
So I feel like we could still split with the Eagles. I still have that confidence. I
almost like that assessment better than mine, because it's like the Eagles tend to pick things up later in the year for the most part. So maybe we could catch them slipping on Thursday night, get the W there, and then maybe lose at home. But we should get one of those, I think.
So then we would have a bye week in Week 11, which I think is perfect for us.
I think we'll win that one.
I don't think we'll lose that one. Then that gets us. Then that takes us Week 12 at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You think we can get that one too, Stinky G?
I think so.
I think so too. I think that's a winnable. I think that's a winnable game for the Giants. So, I've got them somewhere like 4-7 right now. Somewhere around that 3-8, 4-7. So then we go, which I think would be the toughest test of the whole year. Well, or one of them at Seattle, Week 13. I don't think the Giants are winning that game.
Can I do a push? I can't. I just can't say.
Look,
I can't say my team's going to lose.
Look, I'm with you. I want them to be 16-0. I still want them to be 16-0 this season.
Right there from Chris. He said, "Are we talking winnable or what they will win?"
Right.
I like that.
Look,
you got to make this clear. I feel you.
I get that. But really think Seattle is a legit NFC championship. I think they could be the representation for the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think they're a really, really good team.
Yeah.
I know they kind of went toe to toe with the Vikings this past Sunday night, but that Seattle team is pretty scary. And then in fact, you get them. I don't know if there'll be any crowd by then. That will be in early December. But you'd like to play them without the 12th man. But the fact is,
I actually lived in Seattle for about 5 years, and we were planning on going to that game, but freaking COVID just – I got to tell you guys, if you ever get a chance to go to CenturyLink, you got to go to CenturyLink. And there's a huge Giants following there too, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
It's funny you say that because there's actually a really large Giants following in Atlanta.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yep.
There's a huge – it's very random.
Here in Dallas too.
Dallas. Yeah, which is funny because when you go to Jersey, you see a ton of Cowboy fans up there.
I see so many Cowboys fans out here.
So
really,
it doesn't.
More Cowboys fans than any other team. I swear, you see them jerseys out here all the time.
If you go to Memphis, Tennessee, that's all you see is Dallas fans. They're covered in Cowboy fans, littered.
On a side note. Just so last year, I'm part of a Giants club out here, Big Blue Wrecking Crew, Dallas Metro. The weekend of the game, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they had a huge, Friday was a get together. It was called the Takeover. Saturday morning was like a boat ride, and then they had like some kind of club thing. I'm too old. 9:00 is my bedtime, so I didn't participate in that. And of course, Sunday is the game day. So I'm just throwing it out to you guys. Hopefully next year it'll be a whole different story, and we get back together and we start doing our thing. Please keep in touch because we would love to have you guys come over and check out some the Dallas Giants game because it's
absolutely
it's phenomenal out here.
Absolutely, and that's another reason why I love YouTube is connecting with other Giant fans, not just video makers, but even people who just comment, subscribers. That's what's great about YouTube. All right, so Week 14, then we're at home against Arizona.
I could see us beating Arizona because they got us last year. For some reason I have a feeling that Graham could put a defense that'll stop Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think we could beat the Cardinals as well.
I do too.
I think like Kyler Murray, but he just ain't it. I feel like.
I think again, this is going back to what I said. I think the Giants are going to be a much better second half team. Granted, they got a couple tough matchups, but I think they can win that game too. So that gets me somewhere around 4 to 5 wins, possibly at that point. Which would we'd obviously have to pretty much win out. Then we would be home against the Browns, which would have been a great game considering the OBJ comeback if we would have fans. Yeah. So Cleveland, could we beat Cleveland almost a week before Christmas at home? That's a weird one.
You know what? By 3. I'll say yes by 3. Because you can easily confuse Mayfield. I mean, and that defense, we from what I know, this is in the future, but from what I saw, we were flying around the ball, making plays, and I think we can confuse Baker. So I'm going to say it's close because they do have weapons. They got Chud. No, Chubb should be back by then, right? Because he's hurt. He should be back.
I mean, again, all of this is hypothetical.
Yeah.
Right.
All of this. I mean, that's.
I think we'll ruin Beckham's homecoming. in my opinion.
Yeah, that you saying that make me might want to switch my pick because Beckham might come out and be like, "Oh, I'm back in New York. I'm about to just go all the way off." But I think it'll start with stopping the run with them. If we can stop the run, the Giants can win that game.
I believe the Giants can. I think that's a weird one for the Browns, and I think the Giants can win that game. I do believe that. Week 16 at Baltimore. I don't think we can win that game.
Nah. I was going to go to that game this year too, man. That's right away from me. That's about 45 minutes away from me, man. Just to go see Lamar go torch us. But yeah, that Giants can't win that one.
And then the very last week, home against the Cowboys.
That's a win.
I think the Giants can win that game. And go ahead, Anthony, and then I want to make a point after I say this.
Yeah, I think the Giants can win this game, especially with no Dak Prescott here. We're going to get a lot of tape on Andy Dalton, in this offense, and it'll be the last game. We should be able to get that W.
So the reason we do that, or the reason I wanted to give that a try, is there's still we've already said that like the NFC East division winner might have 7-8 wins. Okay, again, maybe that's a long shot for us to even consider, but the fact is, and don't get me wrong, the Giants are. They just got to figure out how to win a game right now. To forget about winning the division, just win a game. But my point is running down the schedule, you can see 7 to 8 wins still.
Easy.
It's there.
Well, not easy, but yeah.
No, it's not easy, but it's there. That's again, things would have to line up. Obviously, teams can change, right? I mean, Lamar Jackson get hurt and Baltimore's not as good. So I mean, who knows? Russell Wilson could get hurt for Seattle. You don't wish those things upon him, but the fact is that could happen, and those matchups could be different. Obviously, Daniel Jones could get hurt for us. Whatever the case may be, every game changes based on every week. You still see some options there for the Giants, right? And look, I got an Eagles fan right here, this Birdman. I'm going to point him out. I'm going to give him his shine. This man's laughing at me, right? And I get it. Like I get it. Like I understand. Yeah. You probably think the Giants are going to go 0-16. No way the Giants have an opportunity. But the fact is, the sky, in my opinion, hasn't fallen completely. There's still some hope. There's still some opportunity. We just got to start. We just got to get that one win. That's the problem about this last Cowboys game. It's like if you would have just got it, we could have went on with our business.
Sparked the whole season.
Could have sparked it. But and I'm hopeful, and you guys probably feel the same way. Forget the fact that Washington's bad. Just forget it. Like, who cares? Just get a win. And I think the team dynamic can start believing even more into Joe Judge. And I love Joe Judge. I do. I've watched the way his demeanor is. I've watched this team, the way they've played. It's like you said, Stinky G. You didn't see an 0-4 team on the field.
Right.
Granted, you may have been biased, but the reason why I think you didn't see an 0-4 team, in your opinion, was because that's Joe Judge.
Mm-hmm. That's
Joe Judge is bringing that kind of intensity, that kind of team. I love Joe Judge. I think he's the guy. I really do. And I know Matt Rule is doing good things in Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. And he was on the table potentially. He's doing good things, but I think Joe Judge is doing some good things. I do. I think this team, I like this. I think our special teams is better. Yeah. I think our defense is better. And I contribute that to Joe and even some Patrick Graham for the defense. But I contribute those two things. We had that was a great trick play. That should have been a touchdown that the refs took off the board. And I think that's Joe Judge putting that in there, right? He's a special team coach for the Patriots. So obviously, Matt Rule is doing great things in Carolina. You wonder what he would have done with the Giants if he could have had that opportunity. But nevertheless, I feel like this team can still. Granted, I'm not feeling great. Can still do things this year.
Yeah, and it starts this weekend.
Yeah, it starts
this weekend.
It's like Authentic said, or we've talked about. Like, man, you lose to Washington, now you lose hope.
Yeah,
now you lose hope.
That's not a good football team, man. They're in turmoil. Their quarterback situation make our quarterback situation look like gold. So we got to go in there and the offense really just needs to get clicking. The Giants team would look a lot better if our offense could put up more touchdowns on the board. And I think that will help the defense out even more. You won't have your defense in these late game situations where if they just make one mistake, the game's over. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I want to say that's probably why our defense was playing to the highest potential, because they weren't on the field for long drives. I mean, we weren't, we didn't have the 3 and outs like we did previous games.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna get close to wrapping it up because I know Stinky G's getting close to that bedtime. But before you guys go, I'm just because I always like asking Giant fans, especially ones that I haven't talked to, like this. Give me you guys favorite Giants player and why.
Go ahead, Authentic.
Okay. I mean, got to be Eli Manning for me. I'm gonna give you an honorable mention, but got to be Eli Manning for me because right there, when you just didn't think the Giants was in the mix, and people were saying, "Yo, Eli's got to get out of here," and they didn't have the faith in him. I know what it's like to play QB, man. The pressure be cooking on these quarterbacks. You got to give these young guys the time. So when Eli got them 2 Super Bowls, I mean, yeah, that he did that for our franchise. And for NFC East, and especially for me living in Washington, D.C., I got that in my bag whenever I need to drop something on any
exactly. Yeah.
Right? My honorable mention.
And Cowboy fans, too.
And the Cowboys. Yeah, it's like, yo, y'all, I remember the Cowboys had that drought of no playoffs. It was great. It was, those are just great Giants times to be able to talk a bunch of shit. But honorable mention is my first love with the Giants, which was Rodney Hampton. First Giants jersey I had.
That's my first Giants jersey.
That was
27.
That was my first Giants jersey.
Yeah. And so Rodney Hampton, he was like a very physical running back, and I believe it was Otis Anderson who was showing him the way back in the the early 90s,
I got that jersey.
That was my man. So yeah, honorable mention goes to him. I like the bruiser style running backs, and for what it's worth, my girl, she's a Brandon Jacobs fan. She loved Brandon Jacobs.
Oh yeah. So since Authentic got some honorable mentions, I got some too.
New York Giants, man.
Hey, he took Brandon Jacobs. I'm a little old school, but and we actually brought his name up. Now, not my favorite Giant. Well, no, this is my favorite Giant. The honorable mention, we brought it up before. The most underrated wide receiver of all times, Amani Toomer.
Yeah.
Amani Toomer. Oh, man. He was on the 2001 team, the 2000 team that lost to Baltimore, but he did get his ring in 07.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did. And now my favorite Giant of all times, I got to go with number 11, Phil Simms. I just got to, it's funny.
That's why I asked, because I think that's interesting. I honestly think that's an interesting answer from you.
Because
it's bad, but I think it's interesting.
But for me, and it's a quick story. I was playing flag football. I was in elementary, and coach put me on defense. And I like Lawrence Taylor. Shout out Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carlson, Henry Reasons. I had to throw out there a couple. But I didn't want to play defense. I didn't like defense. So I remember getting a 1990 scorecard of Phil Simms, and it looked like the best. I mean, it was like the perfect form of a quarterback. And I remember getting on the phone with my buddy. I said, I want to be a quarterback from here on out. And because of that, I played. I played in high school football. I played quarterback, number 11. And he was just such an influence in my life. So yeah, Phil Simms, Super Bowl MVP.
Obviously, I've always been an Eli guy, but one of the ones that I absolutely love, and I don't even know if I've even talked about this, is I've always was a Strahan guy. Love.
Oh yeah.
Just love, and I loved LT, but for me, I caught LT a little late.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Strahan kind of took that transition as a defensive guy. And so, but anyways, man, I'm so glad I brought you guys together because I knew it was magic. I just know.
Appreciate you having us, man.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. This is
both
awesome.
Good looking guys. Both look good in blue. I mean, so I knew it would be magic. I knew, as I like to say, it would be good for business. And so, go, Sneaky, you start, and then Authentic. Again, for those that just came in, tell them your YouTube channel. Tell them where they can find you, or some of the stuff you do with your boys, and tell them all that. We'll end this thing.
Okay, so Instagram, please look me up, Sneaky G Man. On TikTok, I'm Sneaky G Man 11. Phil Simms, shout out. On YouTube, Sneaky G Man. Twitter, yes, Sneaky G Man, and also on YouTube, the Truce Podcast. That's 2 RUCE. Again, that's 2 RUCE. We, like I said, it's 2 other guys. They're Cowboys fans, Dallas Stars. We come together and we talk football. They try and give me shit. I give it right back. And yeah, I mean, that's what we got going on.
That's what's up, man. I just took down your information, man, so I can make sure to subscribe up to you. So
I will do the same for you.
With the homie Tim and the homie Scott. We're Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. It's called Authentic in the Beard, the way I spell it. If you want to find me on social, it's just @Authentic on every platform, spelled just like that. And we also do a show called The Parlay on Sundays where it's more of a laid-back vibe where we're just kind of talking fantasy football and betting and just tapping people in, letting them say their opinions on teams in the NFC East. All of our content is NFC East based. I'm the only one representing the Giants. So, yeah, if you're a Giants fan, definitely come out, show some love, man. I need my army with me. You know what I'm saying? These Washington fans is all over me. But, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 and Sundays at 11 a.m.
Awesome, guys. Look, again, I cannot say this enough. For those that are my subscribers, these guys are worth your follow. They are worth your attention. They're worth your follow. You need to go follow these guys, especially if you're a Giants fan. You know, if you're a Cowboys, Eagles fan, Redskin fan, you're already lost anyway. But
you can still follow me. You're going to hate me.
These guys will still take it. These guys will still take it. But if you're a Giants fan, these are must follows. These guys are good YouTube content. Stinky G, I forgot to even you just had Howard Cross, former Giants tight end, on your and like you see that stuff and it's great. I mean, it's awesome stuff. So that to me is great content. You guys go subscribe to these guys. Go follow all their social media pages. You know, anything that they got out there, it's worth it. Sneaky G actually on Sunday, after I got done watching Authentic and his boys podcast, I go to Instagram and I see that he had the towel joke where it was the Cowboys had the towel. It was like dog shit, and I was like, oh, it's funny as hell, man. And I said, man, I got to get these 2 guys together. And let's just talk some Giants football, man. Let's make some good stuff. So again, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate everybody watching. We had some really good numbers tonight. Appreciate everybody for the support and the likes and all this and that. And we'll have to do this again, fellas.
Definitely. I'm with it.
Are we about to sign off?
Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Let's go Giants.
Hey.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. You two hang around for just a second. I'll end the broadcast, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys later this week.